Al-Hijr, the rocky track, continues the N.J. Dawood translation of Al-Quran. And I will be making some adjustments here. In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. Aleph Lam Ra. These are the verses of the book, a glorious Quran. The day will surely come when those who disbelieve will wish that they were Muslimin. Let them feast and make merry, and let their hopes beguile them. They shall know. And as much as the titles in Arabic and stuff like this is, yeah, that can definitely be true in some cases, and we've heard in the past how that was cases in this life. But the person who is that quality of wholeness, the person who has surrendered themselves unto the ultimate causal, that's what we're talking about. We're not limiting it to following Muhammad, but of course, you follow the prophet of the age, right? The time and the place. And in this international age, never have we destroyed a nation whose term of life was not ordained beforehand. Men cannot forestall their doom, nor can they retard it. They say, you to whom the warning was revealed, you are surely possessed. Bring down the angels. If what you say be true, we shall send down the angels only with the truth. Then they shall never be reprieved. It was we that revealed the Koran, and shall ourselves preserve it. We have sent forth apostles before you to the older nations, but they scoffed at each apostle we sent them. Thus do we put doubt in the hearts of the guilty. They deny them, despite the example of the ancients. If we opened for the unbelievers a gate in the heavens, and they ascended through it higher and higher, still they would say, our eyes were dazzled. Truly we must have been bewitched. And there is evil magic and just meditation or something about ascent and descent, but it's not the same thing as per se some of the experience. And it's not the same thing as, you know, God having a sent one, and the sent one gets the experience for the teaching of the world and that sort of thing. We have decked the heavens with constellations and made them lovely to behold. We have guarded them from every cursed devil. Eavesdroppers are pursued by firing comets. We have spread out the earth and set upon it immovable mountains. We have planted it with every seasonal fruit, providing sustenance for yourselves and for those you do not provide for. We hold the store of every blessing and send it down in appropriate measure. We let loose the fertilizing winds and bring down water from the sky for you to drink. Its stores are beyond your reach. It is sure, we who ordain life and death, we are the heir of all things. We know those who have gone before you and know those who will come after. It is your Lord who will gather them all before him. He is the wise, all-knowing. We created man from dry clay, from black molded loam, and before him, Satan from smokeless fire. Your Lord said to the angels, I am creating man from dry clay, from black molded loam. When I have fashioned him and breathed my spirit into him, kneel down and prostrate yourselves before him. The angels, one and all prostrated themselves except Satan. He refused to prostrate himself with the others. And as far as consistent appearance of human beings, Africa is really kind of where it starts, right? Although the oldest evidence is in the Hindu Kush Himalayan of humans, it's still, there's still the thought that regardless, it's out of Africa, even though they don't quite know how that works at that point without skipping to pre-humans, you could say. But the mountains are firm, and the mountains, are like pegs because there's less of them that sticks up than sticks down. and they move so very slowly. And we'll talk, and the Quran also talks about that a little bit. And the angels, one and all, prostrated themselves except Satan. Well, the light beings prostrated, and the fire beings were supposed to go along with them, but they didn't. And here we have the clay beings, us humans, and I guess the other critters like that animal scratching. I don't know if I don't think you hear them, but and then you got the fire beings. So, but the humans among the clay beings are the only ones with the free will, you could say. And then you have the light beings. You know, the black. Satan said to Allah, "Why do you not prostrate yourself?" Satan said, okay, well, it's the saying unto Satan, and God's like in parentheses here. Okay, because you know the order is, well, said God, but when you hear it in English, it's like Satan said to God that, but you know, so it felt like stopping to clarify that. He replied, "I will not bow to a mortal whom ye created of dry clay, a black molded loam. Be gone, said Allah. You are accursed. My curse shall be on you till judgment day." "Lord," said Satan, "reprieve me till the day of resurrection." He answered, "You are reprieved till the appointed day." "Lord," said Satan, "since you have thus seduced me, I will tempt mankind on earth. I will seduce them all, except those of them who are your faithful servants." Well, God already knew this, but Satan kind of held back his plan, right? And Iblis is what we're referring to, so it's closer to Diabolos. Let's see, except those of them who are your faithful servants. So as far as we're believing in serving God, there's no power. So he replied, "This is my straight path. You shall have no power over my servants, only the sinners who follow you. They are all destined for hell. It has 7 gates. Through each gate they shall come in separate bands, but the righteous shall dwell among the gardens and fountains in peace and safety. They shall enter them. We shall remove all hatred from their hearts, and they shall take their ease on couches face to face. A band of brothers, toil shall not weary them, nor shall they ever be driven out. Tell my servants that I alone am the forgiving one, the merciful, and that only my scourge is the woeful scourge. Tell them of Abraham's guests." And one of the things there is that we have elsewhere the talk about the 8 gates of paradise. One of the gates is the gates of the fasting, but 7 gates to hell. So the paradise gates outnumber the other ones. At the very least, we can take lesson from that, right? They went into him and said, "Peace." But he replied, "We fear your intent. Do not be alarmed," they answered. "We come to you with good news. You shall have a son endowed with knowledge." He said, "Do you bring me such news in my old age? What news do you bring me?" They replied, "We have made known to you the truth. Do not despair," he said. "Who but a sinner would despair of God's mercy?" "Messengers, what is your errand?" Just like in Surah 20, we have this idea. You don't approach God as a sinner. You approach God as saying, "I've had good beliefs, and I've tried to do good." Then you can expect forgiveness. But if you're identifying as saying, "I'm a total loser, God," they replied, "We are sent forth to a guilty nation, the house of Lot alone. We shall deliver except his wife. We had decreed that she should remain with those that were to stay behind." And when the envoys came to the house of Lot, he said to them, "I do not know you." "No," they replied, "we bring you news of that concerning which they are disputing. We bring you truth. For what we say is true. Depart with your kinsfolk in the dead of night. Walk in their rear, and let none turn around. Go where you are commanded." Such were the instructions we gave him, for the wrongdoers were to be utterly destroyed. Next morning the townsfolk came to him rejoicing. He said, These men are my guests. Do not disgrace me, have fear of the law, and do not shame me. They replied, did we not forbid you to entertain strangers? He said, here are my daughters. Take them if you are bent on evil. Buy your life. They were blundering in madness. At sunrise, the cry overtook them. We laid their town in ruin and let loose a shower of clay stones upon them. Surely in this there are signs for prudent men. The road on which their city stood is trodden still. Surely in this there is a sign for true believers. The dwellers of the forest were also guilty. On them too we took vengeance and made of both a manifest example. The people of Hijr also denied our apostles. We gave them our signs, but they ignored them. They hewed their dwellings into the mountains and led their lives in safety. But one morning the cry overtook them. Nothing did their gangs avail them. It was but to reveal the truth that we created the heavens and the earth and all that lies between them. The hour of doom is sure to come. Bear with them nobly. Your Lord is the all-knowing creator. We have given you the 7 oft-repeated verses and the glorious Koran. Do not regard with envy the good things we have bestowed on some among them, nor grieve on their account. Show kindness to the faithful and say, I am he that gives plain warning. We will surely punish the schismatics. And it's fine to different opinions and material circumstances and stuff like this, but don't use it to divide into sects. And there's a territory north of Medina where Thamud are said to have dwelt. The 7 verses of the Fatiha are exordium, or the 7 repeated verses. Who have broken up the scriptures into separate parts, believing in some and denying others. By the Lord, we will question them all about their doings. Proclaim then what you are bidden, and let the idolaters be. We will ourselves sustain you against those that mock you and serve other deities besides the law. They shall before long know the truth. We know you are distressed by what they say. Give glory to your Lord and prostrate yourself. Worship your Lord till certain death overtakes you. Now, the certainty that one has, death is obviously the final certainty. And worship your way into having more certainty in life. And yeah, it's troublesome when people don't believe right. I saw this video of people praying in Times Square, and some guy was yelling, Jesus is Lord, Jesus. Well, the Muslims agree that a Muslim would agree that Jesus is Lord. Curie as in spiritual, he was a spiritual master that was supposed to be followed by his people. He was the Lucifer of the time, to use the Latin. He's the Christ, the Messiah, Emmanuel, the avatar, whatever term you're going to use is appropriate for all this. But, you know, people in their emotions were like denying it, overstating it. And it was like, you know, it wasn't the way to spread religion to go set up and yell over people's services and stuff like this.